So I'm back with Witch at Atelier, and look at this cover art. Oh my god. Seeing Coco with a brim cap and a pointed one side by side, just, he looks better than the brim cap. Also in this chapter, Igwin makes an appearance. We're still in the cave, the Serpent's Cave, for that second trial. Beginning of this chapter, we get to see a witch apprentice, and he's looking through a book, and he's talking about transforming the body, but it's a curse, internal you, but it's in violation, and all these are forbidden magic. But the apprentice doesn't understand why they would put limits on magic. As we see the apprentice look down at that cat, saying magic can do anything. Then we see a side-by-side of Coco wearing a brim cap and a pointed one. Here we're in the cave. We see Uni, and he's still that wolf. God's telling Coco the pointed cap referred to her as the child of hope. And when they came after them, they did all this for a test for her, so they might get her to use forbidding magic. All Coco could say is the child of hope as she looks away from a god, saying thank goodness. Even me, I was kind of shocked, like, what's she talking about? Like, she happy? Even a god was like, what? The reason why she was happy was at least that she knows there's a way to break the spell on Uni, and that she's glad that she has this hope to bring him back. God's still shocked because, bro, there's only one way to save him, and that is by casting forbidden magic, but the risk is too high. If you get caught by using forbidden magic, you're gonna get your memories wiped, and you don't know if it's gonna work in the first place. How she says, you know better than us, referring to what happened with her mom. How dangerous, unfamiliar magic can be. Coco's spirits is really high up as she says, thank you, a god. I know that you're worried about me. Her only worry is, obviously she does care for Coco, but was to fall in a trap from the same people that put Uni in this transformation. This alone, as she's trembling, is reason enough for the brim cats and all forbidden magic to be gone from this world forever. She says she's never seen anything more terrifying and so sinister, even making her whole body paralyzed from fear. Luckily, Tatia came up and lifted the spirits of everyone, but then she said, let's bring all three heads together to think of an idea to free Uni from this transformation. Tatia is the one that basically brought all them back to getting to a solution. She knows that the power of magic can do anything. Coco and Agat are just invigorated with Tatia's encouragement and positivity, but really she's trembling and fearful of the situation they're in, and Coco could see that as she grabs her hand and tells her thank you for making us brave. Coco thanking her just gave her even more courage, as Agat's the only one getting to work. She dumps out her bag and checks out all the spells they have and sees which one can they use to help. They try to see if removing it like a tattoo would work, but then we see Coco say maybe we don't have to get rid of the seal. We see her extinguish that flame. Even Agat's like, what happened to that flame? This is where she kind of creates her own type of magic. She puts two spells on top of each other, one to start the fire, the other one to put it out, to reverse the effects of the first spell. She's thinking that she could do the same thing with Uni's spell, just drawing the same thing but backwards. And hopefully that can put Uni back to normal. Tia thinks that it might be still using forbidden magic, but Coco thinks about like, well, you're not really casting it, so is it really counts as forbidden magic? Kind of hit the spot. Even Agat, who's been deep in magic her whole life, never heard of it. But Tetia says it can't be forbidden magic because it's never been thought of. They all get to work into this new plan. And Coco been thinking about this spell type of thing for a while. She's able to save him. She's maybe be able to save her own mom with the same technique, but they need to get close enough to Uni to see what the actual spell that was on his body so they could redraw it. They're looking for spells that would able to help manage that. As they find one and they just put up another disguise and they look like one of the scaled wolf. And I guess with scaled wolf, every time they come in contact with each other, they have to bump it to each other, but they have a rope in their mouth and they're going to use this to tie him down as Tetsuya prepares a spell that's going to entrap him with this barrier of sand. Now it's Agat's turn to draw the spell, but she uses the bush buddy to help find the ink that's going to be on his skin. This is where we see Uni in the cave with his wolf eye looking back, looks scary. They're able to hold him down. He finds the ink spot as Agatha jumps on and gets to writing, and she thinks about if Reche was here, she would be perfect for this job, and she's sorry about telling her that she wouldn't be any help with helping Yune. You see Yune like moving around like a wild boar as Agatha finishes the spell on him. He gets bucked off and they're wondering if the spell worked, but I guess it didn't. He's still the same. Everyone's defeated, like this spell didn't work, and they're kind of entrapped. Yune's raging around with his rope slashing left and right. Dots and them are in trouble as Coco's like, what should I do? I have to find a way to help. She's wondering why Yune's still stuck as wolf. If reversing the seal didn't work, that means once a spell's altered by magic, normal spells aren't enough to change it back again. As you see one of the brim caps on top of Coco saying precisely, Clever girl. Of course you figured it out. You probably had it in your mind already. Coco looks back and says the mask with the eyeball on it, that's the one she knew since she was a kid. He introduces himself, a Gwyn at your service, eye of the world, the Lindless one. He jumps off the wall as he faces Coco, telling her not to be afraid, the child of hope. They're not here to bring you anguish. And as an apology, she's going to share a secret, a way to save the boy and break the spell. And Coco's like, let me guess, forbidden magic? It says, of course. What you mean? You doing that forbidden magic? He tells Coco to be at ease, that her friends will never know and that they all witches have secrets. Besides, you're trying to save your friends. So come on, Coco. A wand in her hand, telling her it's time to draw. God, Witch Hat Atelier is amazing.